currently have this login page built in, but we do also need a sign up page. In this video, I'm going to build that, but I'm not going to take you through the process because I think we've had enough practice building containers like this. Instead, I'm going to quickly dissect it. You can build it on your own if you'd like to, and we can check back when it's done. To start, like always, this is just one big column. At the top, we have the first item in the column, which is a column of its own, which has two pieces of text back to back. Under that is another thing that covers the name. This is a column with text and then an input under. We have 4 of those, which are basically the exact same things, just changing the words. So you can just copy paste 4 times to be able to build out all of these elements. Keep going down. Still just the same thing. At the bottom we have one big button, just like we built over here. And then something just like this, which is another container, which is a row center aligned with one piece of text. Or you could really say 2 pieces of text in it. I'm going to go ahead and build this. I'm not going to take you through the whole process, but what I am going to do is actually just duplicate this login page. We can call this sign up. And done. That didn't take too long. There are a couple quick housekeeping things we want to do before we actually get to add authentication. Here we have this option that says already a member, sign in. What we want this to do is navigate to our login page. We're used to this functionality by now. I'm going to click sign in. Let's add an action and we're just going to navigate to our login page. Same on the login page. On the sign up, let's add another action. This time we're going to navigate to our sign up page. Now we can actually add functionality. Let's start with creating an account. I'm going to click this sign up page and open our action flow editor. Instead of just navigating to the home page, I'm going to have an action before that. Under backend and database, we can go down here to Firebase Authentication. Here we have options already. I'm just going to say create an account. We have to choose our authentication provider. This is just email. And now we need to set these different fields. Now before we actually go and do that, we want to take a look at how this is set up. Inside each of these things, we have something like a text field, but it's just called text field, which makes it really confusing for us to figure out what it's called because this is text field and this is text field. So how do I know which one we're talking about? This is where naming really comes in handy. This needs to be called email, and this one under here is going to be email. Sorry, this one up here is name. Over here, this one is password. And you can name them whatever you want as long as you know what you're talking about. And I'm just going to name this confirm password. So I know exactly which one name is and that this is email, and it's a lot easier for us to figure out. Now when we go back to sign up and try to add this action, we need to put a field to map to email. So I'm just going to put email as that email field. Easy enough. For password, we're going to have our password as the password field, and we do want to confirm the password, so this is going to be our confirm password field. Now this looks good, except we've used email, password, confirm password. We're still missing that name. What this is going to do is it's going to create a user into the database, and that's going to allow the user to log in later on and store different things to their user data type. But if we want to add the name, we need to go down here to set fields, where we can actually modify a different field on the user data type. I'm going to click add field. We can just keep adding, and our display name is actually going to be from variable. What this means is that we can get a widget state. We can get this name text, which is whatever the user puts in, and set that equal to the user's name. Now over here we had added a navigation action to be able to go to the home page. If if I delete this action, over here itself, we have this option to navigate automatically. This is automatically going to bring us to the next page, which is our home page. Let's try this out. So I actually set up a run mode this time instead of a test mode. You go down here and click run instead of test. And it brings us to our login page because that's what we set up down here as our initial page. We actually want this to be sign up, but it's okay because we added navigation, so I can just click sign up to be brought to our sign up page. Now I can sign the user up. I'm going to add in my information, add in a password, and then click sign up. This is going to create an account and then bring me to our home page. If you remember over here, we have no navigation action. It just automatically navigates us to our logged in page. One more thing I want to show you. If I go back to our Firebase tab over here, I can look at the user and then I can also click manage content. This is going to bring me to this window where we can see all of the users in our database. And we see the one I just created with display name Anya and email. We can see the time is 11:32, which is right now. As we start adding more things into the database, they are going to pop up over here. Now that we see that, we can add in our workflow for logging in. Here, if we want to click sign in, add another action, we can just delete this navigation action as we saw before. Go down here to backend database and then go to Firebase authentication. Now I'm going to click login. Our authentication provider is going to be email again, and email field is going to be text field 1, password field is going to be password field 1. We can name these better again, and then it'll automatically navigate us to the next page. I'm going to go back in and name them. This is email. This is password. And if we actually go to our action, we see that it automatically changed those names. Another cool thing is that, remember over here when we have to go in and say down here that this is a password field? Now our action only allows us to set this password field to password. We can't set this to email because we had previously specified that it is a password field. In reload, we need to have some way to log out. So until we add the log out button, I'm just going to click on this image, add an action, go back down here to backend database authentication and just click log out. Here I'm in my test mode. I'm going to type in my email, type in the password that I had chosen, 123456. Here, another thing I want to show you, it actually populates accordingly. This is how we're able to sign in, and then click sign in. It was able to find my thing in the database and bring me in. Now when I click this, it's going to log me out and it brings me back to this page. I'm just going to remove that action because we already tested it out. Amazing, so in this lesson we were able to add authentication, let our user create an account and sign in, and we can visibly see that user document in our database. In the next video, we're going to cover how we're going to organize our database to be able to store all of this information about recipes and add it to our database, just how we created this user collection, as it's called in Flutterflow.